Feels like we've stumbled onto something so much more than a K-drama that revolves around the supernatural, where Grim Reapers wander the earth to guide the newly departed. Tomorrow is something more powerful than that. It's hopeful, meaningful, and contains sparks of magic that will melt your heart. Strip away the Grim Reapers and all the politics around the afterlife, you get a beautiful experience with the storytelling. The story of these two ill-fated lovers chronicles their history in a sweeping tale of tragedy, love, loss, and a ray of hope and closure. In the last episode, we find out from Woojin that he was the cause of Na-young's death, but we find out the truth after it's revealed how tragic his childhood was. His mother lost her life giving birth to him, his father ended his own who couldn't overcome the grief, and to top it all off, his newly found family met their demise from a fatal car crash.
What's up, Sunday fans? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're talking about tomorrow, episode 5 and 6. And just as Flip had mentioned just now, Episode 5 is a heartbreaker. I mean, the tragic tale of him being responsible for all of the death that surrounded him is something that would break the best of us. I mean, you grow up with so much tragedy of loss, and then you grow up additionally with everyone just blaming you for it. It's just, it sucks.
It's overwhelming. And what I've come to find out, like, after watching this episode, it's more than just like supernaturals and Grim Reapers and all that. These stories being told are just so beautiful. I have to say, and I have to admit, I cried in this episode, right? Like, I don't know if you cried in this episode, but leave it in the comment section below. But this is the best K-drama to watch right now.
I think my favorite part about this episode and just this show in general is that, as you said, it's more than just about the supernatural. It's a story about people, about their experiences and what they go through that leads them to this point in their lives that the Grim Reapers have to kind of intervene in. The fact that during this crucial moment, Na-young found the power within her to actually like tactilely grab Jun-won and alert him to her presence, and then finally just having them reunite in Jumadong was just magical.
That was cool because Miss Koo had to take a gamble. She was already kind of short-handed with the punishment that she was wearing in her hand, and she kind of used all of her powers to let this thing happen or let this manifest in order for Woojin and Na-hyung to kind of reunite and have their share their last.
Sorry, Woojin. I said Jun-won.
Woojin. It kind of allowed this last moment for them to kind of share, right? So that Woojin kind of realizes that despite of all this tragedy that surrounded him, it would be far worse for him to end his life.
And if there's one thing that can really pull on your heartstrings, it's an endearing love song by Woojin. And then we get to episode 6, another heartbreaking story about Lee Young-chun, who was a member of distinguished service for fighting in the Korean War. This story made us incredibly emotional. The harsh realities of war and those who continue to live with the ghosts of their past as a result is a story filled with trauma, sorrow, but also courage and hope. When the risk management team goes to great lengths to ensure that Young-chun has a very special passing, including the escort team and the director herself, we get a heartwarming scene. And this episode is just really a glimpse into kind of the ramifications of war just in general.
And it's also kind of a reflection of how these veterans or like how some war veterans are treated. And it's also very, very disturbing how that is so true, right? It's very relevant in terms of like the trauma that they experience, the PTSD, like all of that stuff. And yet sometimes you see glimpses or stories or you hear stories of how veterans struggle to even have like a normal life. And this was a reflection in this episode.
And as Americans, we see it every day where like the Veterans Association or just how they're being treated as second-class citizens.
Right.
They can't even find jobs and they struggle to find support in their everyday lives. But while the Jumadong tries to make it seem as though there is no one special during the time of their judgment, the resulting actions of the director humanizes the Grim Reapers, even lending Mr. Park some humanity as he initially refuses to provide special treatment, but comes through in the end while acknowledging that he remembers Young-chun during that battle.
It's kind of funny that you said that he was refusing that favor, but in actuality, he was in the room talking to the director and requested kind of like a special like service for the veteran. And that was just so heartwarming. And I started to tear up a little bit because it's like, man, there's nothing more respectful to show. Like, I was also wondering, like, all of those Reapers were probably could have been from that war, from the Korean War, and then, you know,
too.
kind of continued on as a Reaper.
And as I mentioned, you know, Mr. Park remembers Young Chun from that night, and
Yes.
we get a glimpse of him just following. Like, there's a whole bunch of Reapers.
Yeah, it's
They're just
crazy.
following the soldiers into
Yeah.
battle, and you just kind of have to think about how it feels to be a Grim Reaper and to be in that moment. You're just watching everyone. You're just like, we're here because they're going to die.
It's
and we have to
probably
escort them.
it's probably why they seem so cold most of the time, because like
Yeah.
what Miss Koo said, that she's started to get numb from doing this job. There is a little bit of humanity in Mr. Park. Like I kind of sense like in the rest of the episodes we're gonna see glimpses of him being a little bit more human, having a little bit more emotion, because he can't be cool and collected and just damn good looking the whole time.
I kind of feel like the way Mr. Park is right now is a direct result of Miss Koo, whereas he mentions that she's changed, she's
Yeah.
become softer.
Yeah.
She only wanted to escort criminals because she couldn't handle the final moments of these people. And I feel like that has made Mr. Park the way he is.
Right.
But then in this episode, he's like, you've changed. Like, and this is making me a little bit softer too, seeing you change.
Absolutely.
All in all, war is just a terrible thing on both sides, no matter who is fighting it. And so we would just like to say our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Ukraine.
So this drama is just different. You know, if you want a slice of life drama, very much like Hometown Cha Cha Cha, go ahead and check out Our Blues. And if you want something that's a little bit more depressing, then you can go ahead and check out My Liberation Notes. But so far, out of all the dramas that we're watching right now, I would strongly recommend that Tomorrow is the best K-drama to watch right now.
Tomorrow is shaping up to be the show where you want to get in touch with all of these stories about these real people. It is an anthology show. Like we thought, now there, of course, there's going to be like a through line narratively for this show. Essentially what we're watching each episode though is a story of a different person.
And they're beautiful. All the stories are beautifully told. And so all the emotions are just coming out. So yeah, go check out Tomorrow, and you know, you wouldn't be here if you weren't watching Tomorrow, but if you haven't yet and you decided to stumble upon our video, watch Tomorrow, you'll get all the feels that you're looking for.
But that'll do it for our review and recap of episode 5 and 6 of Tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know when we post new videos. But as always, this is what we're watching this Sunday. We'll see you guys next time.